incorporate your diet into your exercise routine?
So when you're exercising, you do want to get a little bit more protein in, and you're exercising, you're building muscle. And a lot of times after you work out, there are really three sort of main things that you want to get in. You want to get your carbohydrates, your protein, and your fiber. And the best window for eating that is about an hour after you work out. That's sort of, research has shown that's when your body is sort of primed to take all of these nutrients.
And is there, a certain time that you should, stop eating before? A lot of people say don't eat after 6 p.m. Is that, a valid reason, or what's a healthy way to do that?
So the idea behind that is if you're eating very late at night, especially things in high carbs, high fat, high sugar, you're not really going to be using most of that energy. And so because you don't use that energy and you're sleeping and lying down, your body will use a little bit for its daily functions, nightly functions, but then store most of that as fat. So it's really more about how much activity are you going to be doing after you eat and before you sleep.
So are there, people get hungry after 6 p.m., so are there certain foods that, are okay to eat, even though you're going to go to bed soon, you're probably not exercising?
I would say maybe something that has low in sugar, low in fat.
Mm-hmm.
You can read the nutrition label and sort of decide for yourself. There are many options out there.
Mm-hmm. So I think, after someone starts a diet, they can stick to it for, maybe the first couple of days, and, it can go well and people are motivated. But then after a while, people kind of, they give up and, they'll start eating a lot, maybe even have a binge day or so. So what are things people can do to, stay motivated and stay on track? Because, a diet is something that it's a lifestyle change. It's not just something you do for a week. Do you have any recommendations?
I think that's a really good point that you point out. When we diet, it really is a lifestyle change. You're choosing to eat healthier. It's not a sort of 2-week thing you go on and then all of a sudden you decide not to do it, because obviously you would gain the weight back. And so, in terms of binge eating or all of a sudden going off the diet because you're so stressed, you don't want to think about it, it's actually very natural to go through that backsliding stage. So, your body is actually very averse to change. Your body's very good at maintaining what we call homeostasis, which is everything's balanced. There's sort of like these fixed controls it likes to set. And so when you're all of a sudden introducing these new habits, new lifestyle changes, it will naturally backlash. So if that's the case, I would say don't beat yourself up. It's okay that you've missed your diet for a day, even for a week. What you need to understand is that it happens, and you just get back right back on the next week. You can do this, and it's easier if you have a friend to help you. You guys can encourage each other. But even when you fall off the wagon of the diet, then it's very easy to go pick yourself up and start again. And again, you can think about it takes 6 weeks to change this habit. So give yourself the time to change this habit. And I would say, in terms of binge eating is often a sign of you're not getting enough of something in your diet. Maybe you are binge eating on a lot of ice cream. Maybe that's a sign that you're not getting enough milk or calcium, because there are nutrients in there aside from all the high sugar and high fat. So maybe go through sort of your diet, see what you're not eating in that day, and figure out from there. This dieting is not just about having very strict restrictions. It's really about tailoring it to yourself and what you need.
So besides that, do you have any tips on how to combat cravings?
So cravings, everyone gets cravings, and I would say sometimes a good method would be, if you're getting a craving, let's say for a cookie today, because you passed by a bakery and it just smells so amazing, you give yourself 24 hours. Say, I'll wait this 24 hours. Tomorrow, if I still want the cookie, I'll have the cookie. But maybe then I'll cut out some sugar from the juice that I'm drinking, and I just won't drink that juice that day. And so this way, you're giving yourself the freedom to have options. Because a lot of times the reason we backlash and we don't want to diet anymore is because we feel so stressed. We feel so trapped in this regimen that we've made for ourselves that sometimes we just want to rebel. And the main important thing is you have to give yourself the option. And perhaps, after you sort of get into the rhythm of eating healthy, you can think about maybe having a cheat day where you can eat a little bit more of the bad things so you never feel like you're totally taking out all the good foods.
And you touched up a little on keeping a log of what you eat. So how would one incorporate that into their diet in the long run? Like what sorts of categories should they be putting into their log?
So there are many different types of logs out there. Of course, you can always make your own on the computer with a spreadsheet. And again, it depends on what you're keeping track of. So if you want to keep track of the different how much nutrients you're eating, you can make a list of the different groups and just write down, put a little check mark next to each group that you've eaten that day. Or now on our cell phones, there are a lot of apps now. So what you can do, once you put your food in, they let you know, this morning I ate this and this, and they'll automatically fill in the nutrients for you. And you can even take your cell phone and scan the barcode, so you don't even have to input all of the information. It'll automatically be there. And at the end of the day, it'll tally up how much you eat. And some of the better ones even tell you, oh, today you've had too much fat, today you've had too much sugar, tomorrow you might want to try this.
So should a person write, every single thing they're eating, or, can they just be a little bit more relaxed about it?
I think that when you're starting out, because you're just learning about changing your diet, it might be a good idea to start writing everything out just so you know. A lot about changing your lifestyle is about awareness of what you're doing right now. And so once you sort of get into the habit of it, you always have the option to do your food log. But you should always give yourself the option of having that freedom of not doing that.
Okay, so, we've discussed how to start a healthy diet and maintain it, what foods to look for and to eat. So do you have a take-home message for our audience?
Yeah, I think the take-home message here is, if you're going to start a diet and start to lose weight, you do still want to make sure you're getting all the nutrients your body needs to just function on a daily basis. And again, everything in moderation, and really be aware of what you're eating and what you're putting into your body. And give yourself the freedom to change up your diet whenever you want, as long as you have that goal, the main goal of staying healthy and eating all the nutrients that you need.
Well, thank you, Jane, for being with us on the show today. And we would like to thank you, our home audience, for catching our show, Teen Health Talk. We hope to see you in the next show.